Every founder struggles with their MVP. They take too long to build, they're too complicated, and don't get the right traction. Today we look at how to build an MVP the right way and why most founders get it completely wrong.
This is Raw Startup.
I'm the founder of Vivino, the world's largest wine app with over 70 million users around the world. Our first MVP was just a simple way to take pictures of wine labels. Actually, Apple said it wasn't even viable. It was so feature poor, they did not want it in the App Store. More about that in a sec. I guarantee you, it had no fancy features. No wine recommendations, no marketplace, just a core feature to validate the idea. Today we'll look at the 6 key principles of building an MVP that actually works, plus the deadly mistakes that kill MVPs before they even launch. Number 1. Speed beats everything. The whole point of an MVP is to learn, and you don't learn anything till you launch. Every second you spend on MVP that isn't launched is a second wasted. Simple as that. You start learning when you launch. After we had launched our MVP with Vivino, we started to learn fast. We released a new version every single week. Learn fast, iterate, and release again. This is one of the main reasons why we won. When you think MVP, think days or weeks, never months. If someone talks about building MVP for months and months without releasing, they're probably building too much. Here's why speed matters. Forces you to focus on what matters, gets feedback faster, saves resources, keeps momentum high. And it's a lot of fun to release. It's just super exciting. I've seen so many startups that spend months and months on their MVP, then they release it and nobody wants it. Don't make that mistake. There are so many examples of this. The most extreme story is the story of Duke Nukem. They spent 12 years building and spent all their money, but never released a product. Not exactly Speedy Gonzalez. A more recent story is Quibi. They spent years on building and raised $2 billion. Basically failed in less than 6 months because they didn't make an MVP. Let's not make that mistake again. Number 2, build a Loom MVP. Building a full MVP can be a daunting task, so build a Loom MVP before you build the full MVP. This is like a pre-MVP that gives you another milestone that you can reach earlier. It can help you stay motivated and see the real progress before you have the full MVP. A Loom MVP is a simple video showing how your product would work. Just record your screen, explaining the concept, use Loom or any other screen recording product. Dropbox famously started as a simple demo video explaining their idea. This really works. So why does this work? It tests if people understand the idea, gets early feedback even before you're done building, gets you to an early milestone, which keeps you motivated. Make sure you set a clear deadline for when you do the Loom MVP and what you do with it. For example, share it with 10 people just to get you committed. 3. Cut everything. Almost. Most MVPs fail because they include too much. Usually it's too many features and that is a total no-go. You need an absolute minimum of features, hence the word MVP. Both words have to be true, minimum and viable. The first version of Vivino had so few features that Apple didn't want to put it in the App Store. They said it has no real value. True, it was very simple, basically just took a picture and didn't give any feedback. We did manage to convince Apple that there was more happening in the background, and in the end they proved the app. The problem here was it wasn't viable, but most people actually fail on minimum. They build too many features, so remember, it's got to be minimum and viable. But not only features, we cut other things too. First, yes, nice to have features, gone. Perfect design, gone. Multiple platforms, gone. Complex backend, gone. Keep it simple and don't build for scale. None of these are needed to build an actual MVP. You don't need iPhone and Android, you don't need a great design, and you certainly don't need to handle 100,000 users at the same time. Remember, if you're not embarrassed by your first MVP, you waited too long to release. Number 4, set aggressive deadlines. This comes back to speed. You need a clear and aggressive deadline to keep the speed going. Here's how you do this right. Set a specific deadline for the MVP release, date and time. Do lots of milestones with clear deadlines. Make it public. Tell everyone. Try and avoid extensions. If you do them, make them short. Do something to commit the team to the milestones and the deadline. Make sure you share where you are on a regular basis. For example, at our last hackathon, we went live every night on YouTube. This meant we had committed to a lot of people. We would be live every single night. Really hard to back out of. It really committed the team. Meeting milestones creates a sense of progress and keeps the team energized. Even small wins build confidence. Number 5, forget your reputation. This is especially hard for experienced founders. They worry about what will people think? Is it good enough? Will it hurt my reputation? Don't forget that everyone had a crappy MVP. People forget the crappy MVPs and remember the amazing product that came out of it. That's what they remember, not the crappy MVP. There are so many examples of really crappy MVPs that came out as incredibly successful products. The first version of Amazon just sold books. The first version of Facebook was just for Harvard students. The first version of Vivino just took pictures of wine labels. There was no real information. This is hard. It's hard to release something you're not completely happy with. Sorry, but you have to do it. You have to get that product out there. You're not alone feeling uncomfortable. Every founder has tried to release something they're not exactly proud of. But it does pay off, and you just have to do it. Number 6, define success. Success for an MVP is understanding what to build, learning from the users. However, you also need to be a little bit more specific. What do you want the user to do with the MVP? What is success? Do you want them to sign up, or do you want them to do a specific action? For Vivino, it's always about scanning and rating wines, preferably as many as possible. Make sure you define exactly what that action is, or you won't know what success really is. So define what success is. So try and remember these rules. Number 1, speed beats everything. Number 2, build a Loom MVP. Number 3, cut everything, almost. Number 4, set aggressive deadlines. Number 5, forget your reputation. Number 6, define success. The ball is in your court. Maybe you build an MVP in 3 days, have the Loom ready in 2, and off you go. Make it happen. Share it with 10 people. You could commit by commenting on this video. Put a comment in there, tell us what you're building and when you're releasing. Remember, every product starts small. Your journey probably starts with an imperfect MVP. If you want more content just like this, please consider pressing like and subscribe, and you won't miss any future videos. Now stop watching and go build something. Build that MVP.